Hey everybody, good morning. Yalancy Peterson here. Ride with Peterson. Today, it is Thursday, June 29th, 2023. The time is 10:12 in the morning. And I just watched a video by the Rideshare professor where he spoke how Uber is sending drivers warnings of avoiding disadvantaged areas, ride requests to and from disadvantaged areas, cautioning the drivers that if they decline or continue to decline rides at these areas, that the driver will be deactivated from the platform. And as I was watching the video and listening to Torsten, I grew very upset because here you have a collection of companies. They don't pay for a molecule of gasoline, a drop of oil, $1 for the labor necessary to keep the cars on the road. They don't even pay for the cars. The drivers are paid less than minimum wage. But yet, and they have no employee protections. But yet, the companies have the, goodness, I don't even know the word to use to describe how despicable it is that they are treating the drivers like employees, because they're not treated like employees and they're not treated like independent contractors. And I can't help but think of the drivers that are beaten, abused, and murdered to make them rich. I thought about it and I realized that what they are doing is basically violating the constitutional rights of every driver by simply suggesting that, if you don't go there, we're kicking you off the platform. The reason why is because I see two big problems with this. It's a matter of freedom of speech and freedom of association. Now, before I go into that conversation, I'll say this. The way the companies get away with it is very simple. Every time you use the platform, you're agreeing to it. So the companies, rightfully so, well, hey, driver makes it okay because every time they turn on the app, they agree to the terms and conditions. Every time they agree to go and pick up a customer, they agree to do this. So in effect, what the drivers are doing, they are waiving their rights to freedom of speech and freedom of association. It's a vicious catch-22. And And that's the reason why I get upset about it, because the companies are doing this, and then they'll turn around and blame the drivers for all the problems, because the drivers are agreeing to unconstitutional terms that the companies are offering to people who feel they have no other choice but to do this job. Yeah, it's a head scratcher, because, it is a case of people willfully allowing themselves to be abused. And the only way to get out of it is to stop doing it entirely, but then cause another set of problems. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I actually want to use the stronger word, but I try not to use profanity on my channel. And it's like, okay. The other day, I deleted my driver account. I went to Uber.com and I deleted my account. And my reason was simply, I no longer support the company. I will not give them my time, my energy, my resources, my life. I'm not doing it anymore. It's not worth it. I did go back in and reactivate my account, because I'm like, I would really like to at least enjoy those moon bowls, because I love the moon bowls. And the only way I can seem to get the moon bowl is by maintaining my account with Uber for Uber Eats. And I figure, okay, I'll reactivate the account, and I'll just go ahead and make sure I tip the driver generously when the moon bowl comes. But I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go right back and I'm going to deactivate my account again. And I'm going to leave it deactivated, because I'm like, I do not want to support this company in any way whatsoever. I'm trying to look for the right word to describe just how despicable the rideshare industry is. It's malevolent. And I can't even, that's not even the word I'm looking for, but I'm looking for a word that's so strong that says how much the companies despise the drivers. Now what they want to do is they want to step on your right to say yes or no to fares that are unfair. There is something wrong when it costs you, the driver, for example, when it costs you $5 to provide a mile of service, but the company is going to say, we're only going to pay you $1 for it. Because that's what's happening. Because what's going on is they are getting 4. You are getting 1. The customer is being charged 5. You have no money to pay for the gas. You have no money to pay for the car. You have no money to pay for the insurance, the tires, the brakes, the coolant, the car washes, cleaning up when they vomit in your car, cleaning up when they foul up the interior of your vehicle. The theft, the robbery, the way they are making, the way the drivers are paying for their comfort and their access. And then to throw a guilt trip on the drivers by saying that it's the drivers who are denying people in disadvantaged neighborhoods access to affordable transportation. It is not the driver's responsibility to subsidize the transportation needs of people who are unwilling or unable to pay for it. It's just that simple. That is why we pay taxes. That is why we pay a gasoline tax. That is why we pay extra money on everything we buy in the county. Did you know that billions of dollars a month goes towards public transportation so that the ride can be whatever it is on the bus? I think it's $1.10 a trip. I think it might be a little less than that or so. Yeah, the bus is inconvenient, but guess what? If you're not willing to buy a car, if you're not willing to pay for the gas, if you're not willing to pay for the gasoline, if you're not willing to pay for the insurance, if you're not willing to pay the registration, if you're not willing to pay for the smog fees, if you're not willing to pay for the fast track, if you are not willing to pay for what it takes to own a car, you should not enjoy the benefits of owning a car. That's just how the way it should be. But yet the companies are expecting the drivers to give everybody a ride just because they say, I want a ride. That's the same way as me going into a car dealership and saying, hey, I need you to give me that $20,000 car because, hey, I need a car. Then they're going to say, you know what? We need $25,000 to pay for this car. This whole thing, yeah, I made this a rant video because you know what? I think there are a few drivers out there who feel the same way I do about this whole thing. It is absolutely obscene that they are going to violate a driver's right to say no to a fare that is too low. The fares are already too low as it is. Drivers who haven't figured it out already are losing their lives behind this thing, financially and physically. And the driver and the companies are going to say, oh, we're going to kick you off the platform if you don't go to a disadvantaged area and pick them up. But you know, enough drivers have been around the block a few times to know where they should and shouldn't drive in their neighborhoods. There are places that drivers know where it would be very unwise for them to go to because they will be the next person on the news who got chopped up, shot, assaulted, raped, stabbed, assaulted, whatever you were, carjacked. They'll be the next person on the news. Oh, this happened to another rideshare driver. This happened on this driver. It is... You know, I'm glad somebody's able to talk about it because I can't do it anymore. But you know, I will say this. I'm glad Torsten did say something about that new rule that Uber's talking about because you know, first of all, to tell a driver you can't say no to a low fare, in my opinion, based on what I know about the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights in the First Amendment. That's a violation of my right to free speech. If I don't like being paid this much money, I should have a right to say, no, I don't like it. I don't want to do it. Cancel. And then secondly, it's about freedom of association as far as I'm concerned. I do not want a person in my vehicle who is paying me less than what it took me to make the ride happen for that person. I don't want to be associated with them. I don't care who they are. And I turned down rides in Beverly Hills for that reason, because they were paying no money to get the ride. Drivers cannot afford to give people free rides. When you give a person a ride less than what it actually costs to deliver it, that is the definition of a free ride. Even if they paid for it. If they pay you $1, but it costs the driver, if the rider paid $1 for a ride, but it costs $5 to actually deliver that ride, guess what? You just gave that person a free ride. And drivers should not be doing that, because it is not our job to give people free rides. And yet the company is profiting off of it, because they are not paying for the cars. They aren't paying for the tires. They're not paying for the brakes. They're not paying for the insurance. They're not paying for the gasoline. They're certainly not paying for the insurance. And then, to make matters worse, the drivers are not safe. Yeah, I'm mad. I'm who? And you know what? As I'm recording this video right now, I'm like, am I going to post this video? Yeah, you know what? I did. I posted it. Have a nice day, people. Have your best blessed day ever. And please stop dying for these rideshare companies. Delete your account. You delete your account and do something else. It is not worth it. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. It's not worth your life. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your health. And I had to learn that lesson after I had a stroke. Take care, everybody.